award-winning Tennessee Wildcast is on the air with the latest on hunting, fishing, boating, wildlife watching, and all things outdoors. Make welcome your host, drummer and outdoor expert novice, Jason Harmon.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Tennessee Wildcast. We thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching and listening. It's going to be a fun show for you today. Really excited about where we are, Don.
Yeah, we are at WJJM Studios, and there's a lot of history here within this station, and a lot of history having to do with Wildcast, as a matter of fact.
Exactly.
It was in this very room that Wildcast Extra kind of came to be. We'll tell a little bit more about that. But I'm really excited that we're here today.
So WJJM is in Lewisburg, Tennessee.
Yes.
The Power 94 as they go by. So I was listening as we drove in today and excited to be here. So it's fun to do a show from a radio station. We're on 20 some odd different stations across the state. Appreciate all our radio partners out there, and appreciate WJJM, Jeff and Missy having us here today.
Yes, great partners.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about Hunters for the Hungry today, and probably get into a little bit of history of wildlife officers in this county. This is Marshall County, and we've got Mark Ventura, the current wildlife officer here, and then Doug Lowery, retired officer, and we'll get more into that. And then Mr. Mike Adams with East Commerce Baptist Church, the wildlife ministry, and he's been a big part of making the Hunters for the Hungry auction and fundraising and things happen to keep that program going. So we're going to hit all that today. It's a lot to talk about.
I'm learning about the Wild Game Supper coming up, too. We want to get that date on the calendar.
Yeah, we'll have to make sure we let everybody know when that is. So anyway, let's, where to start? Maybe right here to my right. Mark, you've now the current wildlife officer here in Marshall County. Tell us a bit about yourself, how you got started, and kind of you took the reins from Doug, right, here in the county?
I waited 17 years to come to this county. We finally got Doug out. And
I had a target on my back for several years.
I was hired in 2000 with the agency. Started out as a Region 2 fisheries technician.
Okay.
On the streams crew.
Okay, yeah.
Electrofishing all the rivers and streams in the region. It was a great job. I enjoyed it. Got to see all parts of the region. And in 2005, promoted to wildlife officer. Started in Cheatham County. From there, went to Rutherford and slowly made my way back to pretty much home. Southern Middle Tennessee.
Close enough, right?
Yeah, all those other counties I worked in were great, but this was home. And I was in Murray County just next door here for almost a decade. Waiting on this guy here.
That's how a lot of it happens, right? I mean, you start in different parts of the counties, and then y'all move around, try to get closer to home if you can when things open up.
That's right. And I owned a piece of property here. My wife worked here, so this was the goal. In this area, Southern Middle Tennessee. That's home.
Cool. All right. Well, you took over Doug's spot. Doug, we were chatting before the show. 33 years with the agency, right?
I was here for 33 years. I started in 1982. I was in the wildlife department at UT Knoxville, and they hired 6 of us to be boating officers during the World's Fair in 1982.
Oh, man.
And so that's where I actually got my feet wet with the agency. And then once I graduated, I was hired here in 1984, and I never left. They tried to get me to leave. But I was here for 33 years.
I know there's a lot of old jokes going around, Doug, but I've still got my 1982 World's Fair coffee cup that I drink out of regularly at my studio.
That was a unique time.
Oh, man, it was.
Very unique time. We saw some unique things. It's amazing the things that show up.
Oh man, you never know. This day and age either.
Very true.
So Doug, you were in this county for a long time, and ran into Mike here. Tell us a little bit how y'all connected, and then we'll learn about Mike.
Well, I first run into him on the ball field. We used to play softball a lot, and then he goes to church with went to church with my parents, and my mother still goes there. But anyway, once I was looking for volunteers, because it was this Hunters for the Hungry program. We'll get into that a little more. But it got to a point where I needed help. a whole lot of help. And Mike and his group there at East Commerce Baptist Church, they just jumped in and saved the day. So they really helped out a whole lot with the whole program and fundraising events. So that's how I met him, and that's how I've roped him into all this.
Mike, tell us a little about yourself. We've mentioned the church and with the wildlife ministry, but tell us a little bit about yourself and what you've been a hunter and fisherman all your life, been an outdoors person, or I know you mentioned you were in the military. Appreciate your service there.
I retired in 2003, and that's really when I was able to start hunting and fishing and trapping a little bit more because, tied up a lot prior to that. But after I retired, I was able to stay busy with that. But with the wildlife group, when we started working with Hunters for the Hungry, we have 36 guys in the wildlife group. And they donate money monthly to pay for our wild game dinner that maybe y'all be able to attend with us in February. But they pay for everything. Our game dinner, no one pays anything to come to it. We have our door prizes. We feed them anything that we kill or catch. And they work hard on this auction. We hit every vendor or business that we can in Marshall County, and they donate items to auction off. And in WJJM here, they're good enough to open the radio station one Saturday.
Literally open it, don't they? I mean, you guys have the materials and everything right in here in this very room.
Yeah, me and my wife, we come in the week prior and we start laying everything out, trying to get it organized. And then Missy and Jeff come in, Mark, Doug, and start auctioning items on the radio. But we had, I believe, about 140 items this year.
Wow.
That they were able to auction off, and that's a result of, these guys get items to auction as well. Mm-hmm. But the guys in the wildlife group, they really work hard to make this happen, try to raise money.
It's a team effort, right? Yeah.
Very much so.
Absolutely.
Well, it's all to raise money for the Hunters for the Hungry program. We've kind of touched on it a little bit, but that's a program that the Tennessee Wildlife Federation has put together, and they manage that program. But you guys raise the money to help offset cost for processing of deer, and then that meat can go to the hungry families in the area, right, in the county.
And the cool thing about the Hunters for the Hungry program is typically it does stay local.
Yeah.
And this is a great example of it right here, because you guys are doing the work, and the volunteers are contributing, and the hunters are donating their deer, and and it stays right here locally. So that's awesome.
And this is a small rural community, and this program is well known by everybody. Mm-hmm. Even folks that I meet in the summertime, I might be helping trap a critter in their yard or something. Mm-hmm. They ask me how the program's doing, and they don't even hunt or fish.
Oh, neat.
Folks that I might unfortunately run into during hunting season that don't play by the rules, they even ask, how can I give to the program?
Yeah.
Everybody knows about this program. It's a community program, and they've done a great job over the years getting it going. Now it's well entrenched here. Mm-hmm. And Marshall County, I've been here 23 years, and it just baffles me when in times of need how people step up in this community. And they may not have much of their own, but they give. And
right.
They give and they give if they believe in it.
Right.
They believe in it.
Yeah.
That was one of the first things that Jeff mentioned to us when we came down here to WJJM initially and started talking about Wildcast being on the station. He brought up the Hunters for the Hungry program. Are you familiar with that? And we were a little bit, but it's great to hear the details today.
Right.
Yeah, it's different. It probably works a little bit different in different counties.
Right.
This particular situation is y'all, and forgive me if I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but y'all raise the money, and you have that amount set aside to help offset that cost of the processor or the hunter. Normally, the hunter pays the bill, right? If they want to donate for Hunters for the Hungry, they pay the processing, and then.
Well, the Federation has a limited amount of funds that they would be able to pay a processor, and that's how it really got started, because at that time the Federation was only able to give a participating processor like $400.
So much money, yeah. Okay.
Well, the cost to process one deer was at that time $40. or that was the amount that a processor was going to get paid.
Right.
And so that's only 10 deer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you have 100 deer donated,
Yeah.
then, or, you have so many more deer donated, then it gets to where they can't pay for it.
Uh-huh.
And that's why we had so many people wanting to participate, and the processor at that time could not keep up. And it gets to a point where either the hunter is going to have to bring a deer in and pay the $40,
mm-hmm.
or the processor is going to have to donate his time and energy and all the cost to process it himself.
Sure.
Which neither one's going to do effectively.
Yeah.
You'll have some, but so that's why we started this program, because the cost. The Federation, it is a great program, but they just could not financially provide the funds for it.
Meet the demand.
Right, because the hunters are willing to donate, and it just was blooming out of, over the limit.
Yeah.
And so that's why we started it. And I was looking back, I couldn't remember even when, but it was 2006 when we first started the program here in the county. And it's blossomed and grown, and
still going.
With the help of so many people, it's really grown.
Well, how many processors are involved here in the county?
Just one.
Okay.
Just one right now, and his name is John Barron. It's B&B Processing.
Okay.
And they do a great job. And what he'll usually do is just give us a total at the end of the year, and then we take the money out of the account and pay that amount.
All right.
And unfortunately, last few years we have less and less processors around. For example, and correct me if I'm wrong, if y'all know, I believe there's no deer processors in Williamson County.
Okay.
So John gets a lot of deer also from other counties that come in here. They know about his program. They know about his processing plant, and they'll bring deer from Franklin, Centerville, Columbia.
So he's a busy man.
He's a busy man.
Yeah, you hear stories of how this processor's a great place to go. So people might jump county to county and go different places just because of the word of mouth. How great they are, and especially if they don't have any right there nearby.
Right.
So.
Right. And they want to do something with the animal. They don't want to waste it.
Right.
99% of people don't waste any part of it. Mm-hmm. They want to give it. They want to make sure it's used.
That's good.
So that gives them an outlet to do that.
Yeah.
So somebody in the county, how do they take advantage of the meat? How do they get that meat?
All they have to do is field dress the animal, take it to John Barron, he'll process it at no cost to the hunter, and then they there's 3 agencies in Marshall County that actually assist with distributing the meat.
Okay.
Last year we had 208 deer, or 8,000 pounds of meat that was distributed here in Marshall County that John had processed. But there's 3 different, and I think it changes. We pick up some drop out, but each year we have about 3 agencies that actually distribute the meat to families in Marshall County.
There's church food banks, food groups, and then all kinds of charitable groups that want to use that meat to feed the needy people around this area.
Sure.
And they always have access to John's plant facility to go retrieve that meat to get it to somebody.
Awesome.
It's all ground up in the burger. Because when I first was looking at what we're doing now, I was asking some of the people who were distributing deer meat. They had deer meat donated to them, and he said, "I don't want deer meat." And I said, "Why not?" He said, "Because they'll pick through it."
Oh,
people will pick through, and they'll find the best cuts. And so the best avenue was grind it all up burger. There's so many things you can do with burger, and that's how the meat is processed. So all Hunters for the Hungry here in Marshall County is ground up into burger, and they can use it soup, stews,
chili,
spaghettis, all kinds of stuff. So,
and even with 208 deer, we ran out of meat by end of March.
Wow.
So there's a great demand for it.
So you would encourage folks in the area to donate?
Yeah, and John, he'll encourage them to donate.
I encourage them.
It's a great program, and we do want as many deer donated as possible, but I guess we're going to have to find new avenues to pay for it, right?
Here we go. But God has blessed this program so much from the very beginning. I was looking at my records, and we started out like $1,200 that was donated, and I was going door to door, these businesses and companies and individuals, and that's how much we started with. And it has grown now to where we are having over 200 deer donated, which is now up to $50 a deer that we have to pay.
Yeah.
So that's $10,000, and it's like, okay, God, where am I going to get this money now? And He has provided, and this community has just rolled with it.
Well, it lays it on the hearts of the station here to help and make a way to do the auction, and then the 36 member group that you've got going, and it's amazing how things come together when
but they've
the
had
right mindset.
I mean, there's a triathlon coming up for Hunters for the Hungry at our wild game dinner that we have in February. We will raffle off an item. We've Henry rifles, muzzle loaders, shotguns, Bass Pro Shop gift cards, whatever we come up with, we'll raffle that off and give it away at the game dinner each year, and that usually raises a fair amount of money. The triathlon does pretty well. This auction, I think, though, the auction is probably the big
it's
that we have.
That's the main draw. For
it has
funds.
It's nuts. It's crazy.
It is.
This year,
it's fun, but it's just it's crazy just how much we started. It was 2006 we started the program. 2010 we started the run. We needed more help with that, and then with the auction it was 2012 when we started it, and Jeff and Missy agreed. They were excited about it, and it has just. Here we go, we're grown with it, so it's been fun.
And for three guys that look like us, radio is perfect. It's the perfect avenue.
Very much so.
Yeah, Jason and I hear that face for radio a lot. I don't know, what that really means, but Hey, Mike. The back to the wild game supper, and I was amazed at the quality of speakers you've been able to attract to it, and I mean they're motivational speakers. They come in and I'm sure that brings a lot to the table too as far as donations. Speaking to the needs and the motivation of what these folks are all about.
Oh, we've had some great speakers, but in all honesty, the speakers that we get, it'd be nice if I could claim credit for getting these guys, but Cleve McClary is he spoke years ago, and he knows everybody in the world, I believe, because I can call him and say, look, Cleve, I need a speaker. Let's call Hank Parker, or let's call General Jerry Boykin. There's a NASA astronaut, Doug Wheelock, down in Houston that's on the space station 178 days a couple years ago. Let's get him. And, these guys. Joe Gibbs is one that we were trying to get with our game dinner in February, and some issues that came up. Daytona began. It kind of created some issues this year. Cleve's mentioned Oliver North, but it's things just kind of fall into place for us, And I've talked to Mark. God takes care of dogs, kids, and idiots. I don't know where we fall, but He's taking care of us.
I'm in all of them.
I'd say kids,
but He's taking care of us. And this wildlife group that we have, they never cease to amaze me. I mean, it just. We'll have 350, 400 people at the game dinner. These 36 guys show up at 6 in the morning. We start cooking, and they'll feed all those people in the afternoon.
Y'all need to come.
Yeah.
You can eat anything from elk to raccoon to deer to fish,
muskrat,
pheasant, dove, quail. But then, I think I told y'all before we started, if it's legal, borderline legal. No, if it's legal, and we'll take it and we'll cook it.
Barbecue it or something, right?
You find a way.
It's amazing what barbecue can do.
Yeah.
You can make just about anything taste good.
But it's and these
I had
guys
barbecued cow one time, and I thought, that ain't bad.
But we those guys work hard, and it's amazing. We can have 36 guys out there cooking all day, and there's never cross word. Greatest bunch of guys I've ever been associated with in my life. And they really work hard. They take this wildlife, the wild game dinner. They work hard on it. The Hunters for the Hungry. They've just taken it, and it's amazing what they do.
Oh, what's some other things that the ministry does throughout the year? Anything that y'all have hunts or get-togethers and things?
Well, I don't know if there's a nice way to put this. The wild game dinner is a men's-only event. There are no women there at all. The ladies of the church cook all of our side items and desserts, and they bring it to the game dinner during the day and leave. And they after a couple of years of that, they kind of threw it up at me, that they were working really hard. So we have a fish and a frog leg dinner for the ladies of the church, usually in September.
Okay.
And it keeps us all friends. we feed them fish and frog legs, and they continue to take care of us because we couldn't do it without the ladies anyway.
No, that's right.
Yep.
So they provide all the desserts, and again, Doug and Mark both can tell you it's unbelievable the amount of food that we have, and the ladies provide that for us.
And thousands of dollars of door prizes.
Yeah.
And again, we'll raffle off an item for Hunters for the Hungry that night as well. Yeah. So. And it's come a long way, because I remember when Doug first started, at the game dinner, he'd sit at the foot of the steps and sell tickets on a muzzleloader that we would give away. So we've come up with a few better items that we can give away with that.
They now let Doug sit at a table. He's moved up from the steps to the table.
I do get to sit at the table, but I'm still in another room.
Works better that way.
Well, Mike's group also, there's numerous events we have in the county, that pop up during hunting season for youngsters, young sportsmen, and women's groups and wounded warriors and things like that. Mike's group steps up and are always willing to take a kid on a hunt or off for a farm to take somebody. I have a youth deer event I started a couple years ago in the county. His group shows up and they help the kids with the activities and whatever they need to do. Mow the grass before we go, or before we get there, or whatever. They're all willing to do that. The triathlon /10K/5K for Hunters for the Hungry we mentioned that Doug started in 2010 is an event that raises several thousand for the program. Also, we have it at Henry Horton State Park.
Okay, yeah.
And people have their choice to enter into the triathlon, which is a 3-mile run, 3-mile kayak paddle down the Duck River, and then a 3-mile bike ride.
Okay.
And then, or they have a choice of 5K or 10K to run. And we have it at the park, and his group shows up there, and they help people load their kayaks in and out of the river, and so their group helps with any kind of event that we need them to.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And for those of you who don't know, Henry Horton's just up the road a little bit.
It is. It's
a little north of
North
town
Marshall
here.
County. Yes, sir.
Yep. Great state park. They've got shooting and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, they got arranged. Me and Mike helps me with my hunter ed class. He's a volunteer. In fact, he's the Region 2 Volunteer Hunter Education Instructor of the Year.
Well, congratulations.
Awesome.
Keeping secrets.
Hunter Education Officer of the Year.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
What a team.
Well, it's like everything else in the county. We work as a team. And me and Mike tag team on the class. There's not a specific thing he teaches or I teach, but we trade off. He gets sick of hearing me talk, so he pretty much does this number here, and then he can talk. But that's how we do things here. But Mike has been helpful to me coming into the county too, and his group. And I still call Doug every now and then too with, "Hey Doug, you know this guy?" I heard something about this guy or that guy.
I'm sure Doug's got some stories of being in the field. Would you want to share one or two, or what do you do? Or maybe
You just opened up a whole can of
that you can't share.
My wife says I talk too much.
Well, what are you doing now? What are you doing now that you retired and enjoying life? I'm sure.
Well, I tell you what. 2 years ago, my wife retired, so that in itself tells you something.
I see a list coming.
Yeah. We gutted our barn.
Wow.
Yeah, took a perfectly good barn and made a venue out of it. So now we have a wedding venue at our barn, or event venue.
Yeah.
And then we bought 2 old grain bins, tore them down, brought them to our place, put them back up, and made living quarters out of them.
Huh.
And we have just got done, and last week we put them up on Airbnb, and we got people staying in them already.
All right.
So
All right.
That's neat.
They can be used along with the wedding venue, that kind of stuff. But that's what I have been doing. Not hunting, fishing, and trapping. That I told my wife that's what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
All those years in the field, as an officer, you don't get as much time outdoors as you'd like.
Well, that's very true.
But
that's very true.
Maybe you could slip in a few deer hunts or something.
Hey, the first before my wife retired, I was fishing all the time. I got to trap, I got to hunt, but now that we're done, I'm gonna get right back into it. But yes,
that's great.
It's been good. It's been good.
Oh, great. We'll have to check those places, that
exactly.
venue out. That's pretty neat.
Goose Creek Farm.
Goose Creek Farm. All right. Yeah. Well, look them up. Go check it out. Guys, thank you for hanging out with us. Thanks to WJJM for having us here.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
Sure has been.
Thank y'all.
Enjoy it. Come back.
Yeah, we will. Keep up the good work on the Hunters for the Hungry and the auction and all y'all are doing here in the county. It's great to hear how y'all are helping out people, and it's a blessing to a lot of people, I'm sure.
Oh, man, so
we'll let you know when the wild game dinner is scheduled.
Good. February.
Yeah, get that on the calendar. Let us know. We'll make a point to be there.
You bet.
All right. Well, this is Tennessee Wildcast. Once again, thanks to WJJN, the Power 94, for having us. If you want to listen to this show on that station, you can listen to the Wildcast Extras at 7:40 a.m. and 4:40 p.m. every day. And then on Saturdays, listen to the whole show at 8 a.m. So,
yeah.
We thank them again for having us and having us on their network. And thank you to all the other stations out there that have us. So, we will see you next time.
All right.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay connected with TWRA by visiting our website at tnwildlife.org and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hey, it's all about Tennessee wildlife. It's what we do. Tennessee Wildcast will be on the air again next week. We'll see you then.